Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan. We're looking at a 1998 Toyota Celsior, just like the Lexus LS400 in Japan. This is called the Toyota Celsior. This one here, 4-liter engine, is the same as North America. This one is a spring suspension, non-air suspension version, has 97,000 original kilometers. And we'll take a look at the condition of the car and compare it to the auction sheet before we send this one over to the USA. Here you can see 97,964 kilometers on the odometer. We'll just switch the engine off for the rest of it. Before we do that, let's have a listen to the engine. And the engine runs really well. I would say that you probably have some engine mounts or transmission mounts to replace because there's a little bit of a shake in the chassis right at the top of the RPM when you rev it like that. When you drive it, you're not going to notice it so much, so it's not something that's going to be urgently needed, but something that you should probably do for the long-term health of the car. It has 100,000 kilometers on it, so it means it's going to live a lot longer. These cars are known to be extraordinarily reliable, and when you buy them from Japan, they tend to be in extremely good condition as well, because most of the clientele this is their retirement car. They bought it when they were 60 or 65 and then owned it for 20, 25 years or so. And then here we are. So it's a quad cam 1UZ engine. Not a lot to say about this. It's, like I said, known to be reliable. The engine has about 250 horsepower. And oil and coolant on this one are both A-OK. And we'll just close the hood. Nothing else to say about that. I will say this one is in quite good condition. The body is very nice. The interior is very nice. Of course, it has a few things here or there. It's 25 plus years old now. And that's what you need in order to import it to the USA. We'll start off by reading the translation of the auction sheet here. Or I will translate it for you. So 1998 Celsior, this is a B-Spec, which would be the middle of the three, A-Spec, B-Spec, C-Spec. It has the leather seats inside, in this case black leather seats. You can also get it with beige or gray. It's auction grade 4 with interior and exterior C. I'd say that they're being a bit harsh. This was JU Saitama, by the way. 97,880 kilometers at the time of auction, still had current registration on it. Automatic transmission is the only transmission, comes with AC, and that's been checked and it works. Power steering, power windows, ABS, airbag, alloy wheels, sunroof, Navi, and leather. Now, I checked all of the car's basic mechanic details, and I noticed that the driver's side window here is fine. The motor works, the regulator works, but when you try to roll it up, it goes up and then goes down like it's catching on something. You can clean the sides here to allow it to slide a little bit better. And then you probably shouldn't have any problems. And it only tends to do it sometimes. Looking at the body here, we have an A2 scratch on the back bumper. And we'll go over the sales points here. Black leather seats, sunroof, and multi-switch steering wheel. Okay. Or combi steering wheel. That's right. Half leather, half wood. And the wood is actually cracked on this one. So aftermarket suspension, the car looks like it's lower. Indeed, it does. Probably lowering springs on it. The suspension is still rather soft, but it doesn't have any issues with bottoming out, despite it being quite low indeed. And a Celsior looks extremely good when it's been lowered. These things are, by Japanese standards, really big, but I guess by North American standards, not that big. And they suit an aftermarket set of wheels and lowered suspension very well, in my opinion. So windshield rock chip, which is nothing you really need to worry about. That's always less than a millimeter. Here we are. You see it right there. And it doesn't go through the windshield, otherwise they would call that a crack. And then interior dirty and wear. Console has a monitor attached to it. So they put an extra screen inside this one. Steering wheel wear and cracked. Seat wear. It's actually not worn that much. Very small scratches, small dents, and repair marks. Actually, the front right fender has some kind of bad paint. The rest of it is okay paint for being a repaint. Hood damper doesn't work, and the wheel's scratched. And then A2, I highlighted here. The W2 here is noticeable, but this is the only one that's problematic in my opinion. So I'll just quickly show you this here. Repainted panels in Japan are often done fairly poorly. You can kind of see the wave in that back door there. And that's about the quality you can expect from a repaint. A W2 is considered an area of damage. W1 would be a well repainted something. W2 is kind of a poorly repainted, and W3 is very poorly repainted. Okay, so now that we're done that, I'll take you for a tour around it. And yes, the Celsior has a fantastic body shape. I am really loving this 1 box, 2 box, 3 box size, or shape, I mean. You don't get to see that very much anymore. It seems like the automakers are allergic to this shape because they know that new car buyers are looking for something a little bit more modern. But it leaves all of us used car buyers to try to find something that we like that doesn't necessarily overlap with what the new car buyers want. We were talking about that today with manual transmissions. Like the uptake rate in North America or in Japan is like 2% for manual transmissions. And yet all of us used car buyers love manual transmissions so much that we spend stupid amounts of money on S13s or JZX 100s or S2000s. And yet if the manufacturers made a new car with a manual transmission, still nobody's going to buy it. So we're in this weird era right now where there's fewer and fewer manual transmissions and more people that want them and yet aren't willing to buy new cars. So anyways, let's take a look at the details here on the front bumper now. The front bumper has a little bit of damage here with some dripped paint for the touch-up paint. And then it's got a lot of rock chips in it. Probably a total of about 30 rock chips or so. So you can see them, maybe even more. Some of them have been touched up, some of them haven't. It looks like it's only on the gray paint. So if you were to repaint it, you could just paint from this line down. You don't have to repaint the whole bumper. There might be a few minor chips in the black parts. I just found one there. But the ones that stand out are these ones in the gray. As you can see, it's kind of speckly. Now the headlights have taken on some sun damage and have faded a little bit. Pretty common on these cars. And then this is a second generation version of the Celsior. The Japanese is a Celsior. So if I mispronounce it, that's why. And then this is the late model of the second generation. The early model has squared off headlights, and this late model has a rounder headlight that kind of fits the body shape of the car extremely well. Okay, now I talked about the bad paint in this section here. There are a few minor scratches that are too big to polish out. A Harrier. There's a version of that called the Air S version because it has air suspension. Air S for S suspension. And so the name of it is Harrier Eris, which I just thought it was funny. Like, who are you Harrier then? Yeah, dad jokes. We have a few little chips there. Now they called, or scratches, they called it A2 on the back bumper, and it's got a few here and there. This corner over here has more of a scuff right there than scratches. And then coming down this side, we're actually looking really good. We do have a few minor scratches. One here that's light and another one here that's light. I think both of these should be able to be polished out. And then a few of the regular fingernail scratches that you get inside the handle. Coming down here, let me just show you this paint that I'm talking about. And you kind of have to get the reflections right to see it. Look in this area here. And this is what I would consider like a W3. But I don't think the inspector really caught that. He did say that there's some bad paint on the car. It is true, there's some bad paint on the car. So, yeah. And then this fender has been replaced. Our panel gap isn't perfect as a result of replacing the fender, but visually it all looks pretty fine. And then we're missing some of the gasket material inside here for the fog lamp, or the marker lamp, pardon me. It's actually a fog lamp is this one down here, which is pretty low to the ground for a stock fog lamp. Okay, going into the car, we'll start off with the trunk. We will come back to this. Trunk. The trunk on the Celsior is Celsior. The trunk on the Celsior is big. You can fit Mike and me and Grant and Max all in here at the same time. Okay, comes with a little safety kit in the back there. Underneath here is all good. It's a space saver spare. there is no pass-through here for the seats, so you can't fold those down in order to fit more things inside. That said, the rear seats here are very spacious and extremely comfortable. This is a vehicle that was known to be something you would buy to be driven around in. Like, say you didn't want a Century, you wanted to be a little bit more, or a little bit lower profile. The comfort inside this is very similar to the Century. You can get them with the vibrating seats, which is very cool, but they're pretty rare. This one is the B-Spec, so no vibrating seats. If you want that version with the heated and vibrating seats in the back, you need to go with the F package. And yeah, it can take you a while to find it. You have your own AC vents here, very clean carpets, and not focusing because it's dark inside. It's hard for cameras to focus when it's dark. These are, I know it's hard to see in the video, but they're fairly tinted windows. You also get your own personal ashtray. Look at that. Now this one, I don't know if it's been smoked in. It doesn't smell of cigarettes at all. It has a nice, like, leather smell, but it's not too strong. The doors open and close very nicely. It just has a feeling of very nice high fit and finish. Mike said the other day, we were talking about this, how all new cars kind of feel cheap. But every time you get in a Celsior, or anytime you get in a Risto, it just has such a great, high-quality feel to it. Soarer does the same thing. All of these first-generation Lexuses. Okay, very nice seats. Power, I think it's 8-way power seats. Here's your wear that the auction sheet was talking about. It's really not so bad. You can absolutely repair that. And a few minor wrinkles in here. Not so bad for a car that is more than half my age old. Does that make sense? I don't know. 25 years old is a long time. So steering wheel cracks all along here and all along here. Because you're touching the steering wheel every time you drive the car, it's going to be a little bit annoying. I would recommend getting that changed. Came with one key. Gauge set is pretty nice looking. I feel like the first generation is a little bit higher end, but it looks very similar other than the fact that this one's 2D and the other one has a cool 3D interface. Hard to explain really what it is like without seeing it, but we've got plenty of videos of the first gen Celsior. Okay. And so coming in here, the shifting is good. Has discolored a little bit on the top of the wooden handle, and this is all real wood. In here, no cracks except for the steering wheel, including this little piece of trim. It has dual climate control, so you can have a left and a right. You can set your own temperatures, one of the earlier cars to allow for that. Extra Gorilla monitor, Gorilla Panasonic monitor. I guess Gorilla is like the Navi brand that Panasonic uses here. I guess it's what it is. Now, this is kind of cool. See this little thing here? This is a hands-free device for talking on the phone. And it's also plugged in and a tape inside there. This tape interfaces with the Bluetooth, like the tape deck interfaces with the Bluetooth tape, and now you can Bluetooth tether your phone so you can do calls inside using the stereo in the car. It has a little microphone there. You can also listen to audio right through the tape deck. I got one for a car that I was driving briefly, and it is very cool that something like that exists. Okay, if you want to listen to CDs, old school style, you can do it there. And then that's just your CD case. This is a multi-disc CD changer. There's a toll collection box in there. I don't know if you saw it. It's right there. Comes with the owner's manuals and other paperwork. And then this one up here. So it has 3 of these visors, sun visors. 1, 2, and then this little mini one that you can put up in case you really don't want to see the sun right through there. But it's broken and it won't stay in the up position. You can probably fix it with a little piece of Velcro tape. And use case of this is very low. I don't think most people use it. Okay, so I think that we've seen the condition of this one pretty well. And as usual, if there's something else that you want to know about it, please let me know, and I'll let you know before we ship this one off. But do be fast if this is your car, because we get these cars in and out as quickly as we can, and in some cases they're picked up the very next day. So let me know if you need anything. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.